time. Good morning, everyone. Welcome on this gloriously sunny May day. I was just telling Dennis, on days like this, I wish we could just pull back the walls of the church and have worship outside. My name is Reverend Emily Bruce. I'm the minister of this congregation. You are all welcome here. Thank you for being here this Sunday. Just a few announcements before we get started. First of all, Diane Richard, stand up, Diane, come on. For those of you who don't know why we just clapped for this one person, Diane coordinated and led the team that presented our lasagna auction and lasagna dinner and auction last night. It was a wonderful success. We're still counting the money. So thank you, Diane. Speaking of money, if you haven't paid for your auction items yet, because some of you haven't, see Kathy. She's right over there, and we know who hasn't paid, so we will come for you. And one more thing about the lasagna dinner, if during coffee hour you have a spare hand to help us take down the tables and chairs that are still up, that would be great, because True Rep, the theater company that rents our space, is going to be in this afternoon. So one other announcement, next Saturday, May 7th, our social justice team is coordinating delivering lunch to the local Habitat for Humanity project that's happening here in Kingston. There will be a Sign Up Genius going out this week. Yes. With things you can sign up for. We're asking people to bring like pre-assembled lunches for about 10 to 15 people. So you drop everything off in Beale House and then someone will deliver it to the site. So look for that later this week. And that's it. So I invite everybody to join me in taking a deep breath in. You guys are ahead of me today. Get comfortable in your seat, relax your face and your neck and your jaw and your shoulders, and let everything go for just the next hour. The to-do lists and emails and phones and everything will be waiting for you after worship is over. Take another deep breath in and out. Thank you for being in worship today. Dennis Randall will give us our chalice lighting.
Welcome, one and all. On this glorious morning, we light our chalice with these words by Reverend Suzel Lynch. Our community is filled with beauty. When you open the door to greet me, that's where the beauty begins. When you share with me what's important to you, beauty is there as I listen. When you join hands to practice compassion, beauty's heart blossoms like a flower. When we teach or learn or work for justice, beauty abounds, sparks joy in all. Let's light the chalice for beauty now. The beauty we seek, the beauty we share, the beauty we nurture together. welcome. Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in our opening hymn. It's 10:54. Let this be a house of peace.
Prayer. Holy Presence, source of light and love, we invite you into our midst this morning. On this beautiful May Day, may we be present to the beauty of nature around us, the budding trees, the blue sky, the flowers, and the glory of abundant sunshine. As we prepare to welcome new members into our beloved community today, may we remember anew our belonging here, our commitment to live by covenant in faith with this congregation. Renew us in our commitments to Unitarian Universalism, to our twin pillars of inherent worth and interdependence. Light in our hearts the desire for justice and peace in this broken and beautiful world. Inspire us to kindness and compassion for all those in our midst, especially those who suffer, who are in pain, who are oppressed by forces seen and unseen. Curry in our hearts the willingness to help bear the burdens of those around us, knowing that all burdens are lighter when shared with others, especially our own. And always, always help us seek the opportunities for joy that are available to us at every turn of the day, from the smile on beloved friends' faces, the delight of music, the beauty of nature, and so, so much more. In the name of the love that passes all understanding, amen. Let us now be still in this moment together. I now invite up Amanda Pine, who will give us our reading this morning.
Why We Have to Go to Church by Reverend Gretchen Haley, for my children who keep asking why we have to go to church. That's part of the poem, but also part of my life. Because there are not enough people telling you that you matter, not because you are funny or smart or send me the best YouTube videos. That you are loved, even when you cannot get up on time or put your socks in, not beside the laundry basket. Even when your temper gets away from you and before we know it, the whole family is crying. We are sitting here in this circle on this morning so that you hear someone else say, you are loved beyond belief. So that you feel from every direction, you belong beyond your choosing. There is nothing you can do that would make you unworthy of love. That your life is precious. Each breath in and out, precious. We are here to learn how to hold this much love at the center of our beings, to let it be our greeting and our parting, to let it flow from our singing and connect us in our silence. We are here to practice showing up like it counts, because we count, to show up with courage and also humility, to remember we could be wrong about everything, to feel a part of something with consequence beyond the everyday patterns, to learn community and responsibility, and to refuse despair, which if you don't need it yet, you will someday. To see people choosing kindness and letting go, giving away every blessing we receive with gratitude.
When we give, we say yes to something we value. In this congregation, we take up an offering each week to say yes to the values of our UU faith and yes to this beloved community. Together, we use these gifts to serve with ever greater love. We invite you to give as you are able. Today's offering will be gratefully received. Our offering anthem is To Spring by Johann Sebastian Bach.
Thank you, choir, as always. Love it. So today in this service, we are welcoming new members. Very excited. Before we start, I would like to invite up the members of the fellowship committee who are participating in this ceremony. And for the rest of you, the insert in your order of service has some words. Everybody in here is going to be speaking at some point, so get that ready to go. So we gather this morning to welcome those who wish to make First Parish Kingston their spiritual home. Those becoming members today have been attending services and programs of the church. They have learned about our history, our theology, and our governance of this church and Unitarian Universalism as a whole, and have given, I hope, some thoughtful consideration to their involvement here. So I'd now like to invite up those folks who are signing our book today: Amanda Pine, Claire Wheatley, Kelly Brotzman, and Rich Saltz. Please come forward. I guess, why don't you stand here? It's a lot of people up here. It's all good. All right, let's just get Kelly. Oh. Fellowship committee. There's a second one too.
As you sign the book, you claim a proud heritage of religious and spiritual freedom. You commit not only to your own spiritual growth, but also to affirm the spiritual growth of others who share this path. We are a church community that is bound by our covenant with each other rather than by an expectation of belief. By this action today, you freely join our lives with ours, promising your time, your talents, and your treasure to this church and to the Unitarian Universalist faith that we love. Welcome.
I could have rehearsed this. So I'm going to invite you all to come up now and sign the book. I also like to note that everyone's signing a purple pen, my favorite color, and the color of royalty and spirituality. So, and Mardi Gras. Yes, right? Next year. I'm gonna have you guys next year. So sign and then print and date. All right, first of all, welcome. Will you all please join me in welcoming these new members with the words printed in your order of service. It is with joy that we welcome you and affirm your decision to join your spiritual journey with ours in this congregation. We pledge to support you in your search for truth, to celebrate with you in times of joy, to help you in times of struggle, and to join with you in rightful action. We commit to challenge and sustain you in your spiritual growth as you strive to live your highest ideals. Now they need the microphones because they are about to say their part and we want to make sure it's picked up. And I hope you have your orders of service with you, although I didn't tell you to bring them up, but that's okay. Now I invite you all to recite the words on that page together.
We commit to be part of the spiritual life of First Parish Church, Kingston. We promise to speak honestly, to act with compassion, to love without prejudice, to live with integrity, and to respond courageously to the demands of justice. We pledge to support this congregation as we are able with our hearts, our hands, our talents, and our resources.
Wonderful. And now let us all say together, in our shared lives together at First Parish Church, Kingston, may we become more effective instruments of service, voices for justice, peace, reason, and compassion, and a community that honors life in all its diversity. May our common ministries be fruitful. May our commitment, our presence, and our love endure. Amen. Congratulations and welcome to each of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You may now be seated. Thank you. Oh, I'll take those back. Thank you. Okay. Remember to turn these off. I also would like to take a moment, me, the fellowship committee, all of us, would like to take this opportunity to also celebrate some of our longest serving members. Because as we welcome new people into the fold, it seems right and fitting to also honor those who have been nurturing the life of this congregation the longest. So to begin, a little exercise. If you've been a member here for at least 5 years, raise your hand. Okay, it's many of you. If you've been a member here for at least, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. No, I didn't say put them down, not yet. If you've been a member here for at least 10 years, keep your hands up. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Sylvia, 50 years. That's amazing. Thank you. On behalf, for all of you really who have been members here for such a long time, on behalf of the generations of families who have passed through these doors, on behalf of the many, many ministers that have served this congregation, and on behalf of the many lives that have been touched and enriched by the work of this beloved community, we thank each of you for the precious role that you've played in this congregation. Give yourselves another round of applause. All right. I'm going to give some, For some of our longest serving members, they're getting a little special flowers from the fellowship. Thank you, ladies. Wasn't that great? So happy. Membership Sunday is one of my favorite Sundays of the church year. Thank you all for participating in that ritual. And thank you, Fellowship Committee, for all you do to support and encourage our new members. Your work is tireless and much appreciated. Yes. So to our newest members, welcome again to First Parish. And since you've already signed the book and are now forever committed to this congregation, I thought it would be a good time to tell you what your signature just got you. So I have created a top 10 list of reasons to be a member at First Parish. Now, hopefully some of these have already occurred to you. That's likely because you're here and you've already signed the book today, but some of these wonderful facts and qualities about this congregation may not have fully shown themselves to you yet. I did consult with a few key members of the congregation, so this list is not just my idea of why you should be a member, but a collective representation, if you will. And one more disclaimer, because we're UUs, please know that there are many different reasons to be a member, and there are many different ways to be a member of First Parish. All are respected and all are worthy. So here's my slightly subjective top 10 list, and I know you'll all tell me afterwards what I forgot to include. So first up, reason number 10 to be a member. We're kind. We really are. We are so kind here. As soon as I came up with the idea for this sermon, I knew that this was going to be the first one on the list. Speaking from personal experience, the tremendous welcoming kindness that I have received from all of you in this first year as your minister has absolutely floored me. We care about each other in this congregation. We care about what happens to each other in this congregation. So, new member, you will be hard pressed to find more caring folks than here at First Parish. Reason number 9, we don't hesitate to step up in a crisis. At least half of this room, and likely more, have had an illness or some other kind of calamity happen to them or their loved one. And from First Parish, they received phone calls, cards in the mail, visits, and food delivered more than once, I'm sure, from members of this congregation. The thing is, we can't promise to fix your problems or heal your illness, but we will feed you. We will help take care of you. We will visit you, and so much more. I know there are many, many stories that even I haven't heard yet about the way this community responds when people in our midst need help. Yes, I see nodding heads. I know that's true. Reason number 8, we harmonize well together. So many people I talked to mentioned our music and the way it elevates our worship service and refreshes our spirits, and I couldn't agree more. One person commented on how rich, beautiful, and communal the singing of our choir is. And metaphorically speaking, I think we harmonize well as a community made up of different people with different beliefs, strengths, and experiences. Because to harmonize well, you need to listen to the people around you and collaborate with them. And I think we do a mighty fine job of that here at First Parish. Reason number 7, we're lifelong learners. One of the things I love best about being UU is the dedicated commitment to never stop learning. And this church will provide many opportunities for you to do that in worship, in small groups, in book club, on committees, doing social justice work, volunteering for events and acts of service. So I encourage you, our new members, to also bring your questions and your seeking and ideas for learning into the mix as well. We are all seekers here, and we want to know what you're curious about and what you want to learn next. So don't hesitate to speak up. Okay. Reason number 6, we embrace our weird and wonderful talents with gusto. First off, we have some amazingly talented artists in this congregation: painters, writers, knitters, quilters, musicians, and so much more. We've got creativity coming out of our ears in this place, and I love that about us. And we also are not afraid to get weird and silly at all in the name of joy and fun. As one person said to me, and this is perfect, why be socially challenged, individual, and unique by yourself when we can do it all together? Our soup and talent night in March was an eye-opening experience for me, and I loved it. And I know there is even more weird and wonderful talent in this congregation that I haven't seen yet, and I cannot wait. Reason number 5, we seek diverse and meaningful spiritual nourishment. When I first got here, one of the things I will admit that I was a little anxious about was how my theology was going to serve, not fit necessarily, but serve the members of this congregation. Because we all know that we don't need to think alike to love alike, but I was really curious to learn just how broad our theological spectrum is here. And happy to learn is pretty broad. Some of us believe in God, some of us don't. Some of us aren't sure, and some of us don't even see the point of that question in the first place. Some of us are deeply fed by worship, the sermon, the readings, the music. Some of us find deep meaning in our small group ministries, the Soul Matters groups, book club. Even more are nourished by the social activities, the lifelong friendships that have been built here, the opportunities to serve, and how those opportunities help us articulate our values and our UU faith. And even others of us would say, none of that really, but fill in the blank. So that's the point. There is no one way to make meaning, and we strive to embrace as many different paths as are available to us. Much like reason number 7, lifelong learning, I hope, dear new members, that you will also embrace opportunities to nourish your spirits here. And if you aren't finding exactly what you need, let me know and we'll try to create it together. Reason number 4, we are not pretentious. I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons you already chose us in the first place, new member, and it's certainly a strong reason that has kept people here for decades. We're not fancy, we're not highfalutin. As someone who grew up in a fancy and highfalutin church, I love that about us. We're not perfectionists. We do some really, really cool stuff, but in a way that's relaxed and warm and welcoming. We want you to bring your whole self into this congregation, warts and all, because life is just way too short to be snobby. Am I right? Okay, good. Reason number 3, and this is probably one of the most important ones of all. We really like to eat in this congregation. Lots of church folks love their potlucks and such, but I gotta say, you guys bring it to a whole other level. And I've only seen the half of it because there hasn't been food at coffee hour this year. So new member, have no fear that you will often be well fed by this congregation. There's nothing that we do that doesn't go well with a potluck or dessert or something. And if you couldn't make it to the lasagna dinner last night, don't worry, you only have to wait about 15 minutes for another opportunity to be fed because we're having cake at coffee hour. We broke the rules just to celebrate you this one time. So, reason number 2, we aren't afraid to share what is on our hearts. When my parents came to visit in October and came to worship, my mother was really struck by our Joys and Concerns ritual. In other UU churches of mine that she's been to, people wrote things in a book or filled out a little slip of paper that the minister read. But here, we get up front each week and speak what's on our hearts directly to the congregation. My mom said, that was amazing. I can't imagine people ever being brave enough to do that in our church. We also speak what's on our hearts in our everyday interactions with each other. And I know this because so many of you speak your heart to me on a regular basis. And it is one of the greatest gifts of my ministry to be trusted with your hearts. It takes courage to speak with vulnerability and tenderness, but that is the path to self-acceptance and self-love, which are 2 things that I think this congregation nurtures and nourishes every single day. And finally, reason number 1 on my subjective list to be a member at First Parish. We love each other because of our differences, not in spite of them. Now, this is a good one, and it is, truth be told, often aspirational. It has to be because we're all humans. We're all doing our UU best to love each other and accept each other, but we can't do it every moment of every single day, but we try. And that is the most important part. We really try hard to listen and understand. And when we can't understand, we listen anyway. We give each other the grace to speak our minds and be heard here. And that is what community is all about. More so than almost any other place, especially in today's world, we embrace what makes us different from each other because we know we are connected by shared values. And one of the most important values that we share is a belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. One person said to me that coming to church on Sunday is like coming to a family dinner where you share the week's joys and concerns and you talk and you support each other. And that feels like a perfect description of what we do here. We come together, we share food, and we talk about what is on our hearts. We exchange ideas. We embrace the knowledge that we are members of a community of support, a community of care, and most importantly, a community of love. So, new members, this is what we are about. And I can't wait to see how you help us grow and change into the next phase of our life together. We are so glad you chose us as your church community. May it be so. Amen. Please rise in body or in spirit to join us for our closing hymn, number 148, Let Freedom Span Both East and West.